Hi guys, welcome to Twisted Movies. Today, I will be recapping a 2021 psychological movie titled Escape Room: Tournament of Champions, the sequel to the first movie, Escape Room, which was released back in 2019. Before I get right into the video, spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. The story of the movie begins in 2003, with a little girl Claire and her mother, Sonia, whom came to their home at night. Sonia then goes to meet her husband, Henry, who is the person that operates the Minus Corporation, an organization that orchestrates puzzle games, where they pick players and put them in escape rooms, with complicated puzzles in them, so that wealthy spectators could watch and gamble on the players' chances of surviving. After Sonia told Henry that she cannot do it anymore, Henry pleaded with her and told her to clear her head by having a swim. Sonia then accepts Henry's advice and goes for a swim. Claire, who was in her room, brings out a box from under her bed, which has some stick sweets, tools, a coin, an umbrella and other objects. Sonia later goes to the steam room to relax. While relaxing, the room door closes, locking her inside. She realizes the door's been locked, and calls her husband, whom didn't respond. Sonia then realizes it is a game, and starts begging and tries to open the door because the temperature of the room was getting higher. While trying to open the door, she sees a group of words written on a glass. The room started getting hotter, and Sonia began looking for clues, and saw a magnetic object, which she can use to unlock the door. She tries to unlock the door, but falls due to the room high temperature, burning her skin, and making her die slowly. Later in the present day, we see Zoe and Ben, who have previously played Minus puzzle game, and both of them survived while the other players didn't make it. They then get to an airport, and wait to board a plane that travels to New York City, so they can stop Minus from killing people. In the next scene, we see Claire, who has gotten big, being locked up in a cage by her father Henry. After some time, Zoe decides to use a vehicle for their trip, because of the hallucinations she experienced back at the airport. It is already dark, and the both of them book a hotel. While sleeping, Ben begins having nightmares about the hotel they are sleeping in, was collapsing. He then wakes up and decides they should leave the hotel. They get to New York City and reach their final destination, which is an abandoned building. In the building, a guy comes out and steals Zoe's necklace, which was her mom's, causing them to chase him to a train station. He gets into a train and comes out before the door closes. By that time, Zoe and Ben were already still on the train. While the train was moving, Zoe began sensing something was wrong, and decides to go to the train's cab, but sees nobody is driving the train. Rachel, Brianna, Nathan, and Leo, who are also passengers on the train, start suspecting something is going on. Within a few minutes, the other train car uncouples, and moves to another direction, while theirs goes the other way. The train suddenly stops, throwing everyone on the train, but didn't hurt anybody. It later appears to be one of Minus games that they are about to play. After learning this, Zoe and Ben then realize that they are not the only ones on the train that have played Minus game before. The 4 other passengers have also played Minus game before. After knowing this, Theo gets angry and begins kicking the door, and tells Rachel that it is his wife's birthday today. The train then got electrified, making it dangerous to hold any metal material. They later find a bag, with a metal handle inside. Theo opens the door and sees an old subway slot, which shows that they need to put 9 tokens in it. They began searching for the 9 tokens. By getting a token, you need to search for the missing letters and the misspelled words written on their ads. While they are getting more tokens, the electricity will keep on getting worse. Theo later sees a clue, and was about to tell the other players, but was tragically struck by the electricity on the train, making him hold a metal pole. Rachel then tries to remove his hands from the pole, but she was already too late, because Theo was holding the pole for too long, killing him. Zoe tells Ben the remaining missing letters. After Ben puts them, a trapdoor then gets opened, causing them to go inside. They have escaped the first room, which leads them to the second one, where they see an open vault. Brianna unknowingly steps on one of the tiles embedded on the floor, which triggered the lasers and injured Brianna's back. The vault then closes, making them have 10 minutes to figure out how to get out of the escape room, before the laser system fully activates. Nathan then found a bowl of lollipops and realized that one of the lollipops had a key in it. They then noticed a couple of deposits boxes on the 2 sides of the room, which they knew that the key was meant for one of the boxes. They checked the lollipops on the bowl to find more lollipops with a key inside. Zoe starts breaking the lollipop, and tries the boxes with a key to find the right box. Brianna then found another lollipop with a key in it, which they used in trying the other safety deposit boxes. Nathan found an ATM machine that needed a code. Now they have 7 minutes left before the vault finally closes. Ben then noticed that all the safety deposits boxes had numbers written on them, except one that had the word Sonia written on it. Ben opened the box with the key, and some sharp diamonds were seen falling from the box. Zoe tried to pick a piece of the diamonds in order to take a close look, but ended up hurting her hand because the diamonds were too sharp, causing her to bleed. Brianna then opened the other box that had Sonia on it, which she saw 2 stacks of blank bills. They then figured out that the clue was to rub Zoe's blood on the blank bills. While Rachel was in a haste to take the blank bills to Zoe, she climbed the counter in the room which had earlier changed shape when they opened the boxes, which almost cost her life. They later got the bill through Nathan. Zoe then rubbed her injured hand on it, which displays the code on the bill. Nathan inserted it to the ATM, which caused the clocks to start moving, giving them more clues. While they were solving the puzzles, Nathan started stepping on the tiles without getting any clue on where to step on, thereby stepping on the wrong tile, which activated the laser system, making him fall unconsciously. He was then dragged off the tile by his companions and made it to the third room, which consists of postcard-like beach with references to Sonia. Brianna then found a camera, and took the camera, and took a photo which changed the background of the beach. They later found an anchor which was part of the clues. While carrying the anchor, they noticed that the rope tied to the anchor was stuck to the ground, and they started pulling harder, which caused the rope to loose from the anchor. The rope then pulled back into the sand, bringing it to their notice that the beach was covered in quicksand. The quicksand got them and nearly swallowed Rachel, causing Nathan to sacrifice himself to save Rachel, and later got swallowed up by the sand. They then enter a small room with the help of the anchor, and discovers that the way out was through a fridge inside the room, which was unplugged. After much search, Ben finally found the plug, but it turned out that Zoe found another way out, which she thought was a way out of the game. This caused an argument between Zoe and Brianna, but Rachel and Ben were later convinced by Zoe to come alongside her, while Brianna was having a second thought on going with Zoe. She then decided to go with her pearls. But it was too late as the building was already collapsing, so she had no choice but to follow the other way, while Ben, on the other hand, fell into the quicksand while climbing to the alternate route. Zoe and Rachel later made their way out through a manhole back to the city. Overjoyed at first that they were outside, but quickly realized that they were still in the game when they encountered Brianna. They then noticed that if they do not make it out of this room, acid rain will periodically spray on them. They started a quick search for the key to a bodega in the room. After finding the key, they opened the rolled up door but found out that there was another locked door, while they had a little time left for the acid to start raining. But the players are covered with a store awning, preventing the acid from touching them but melting gradually at the same time. While the rain had stopped falling, they saw it displaying TV inside the bodega, which says conservation activists have started a chain reaction throughout the city. With rising water cost, residents are turning to urban rainwater collection. They then figured out that the puzzle was to collect the rain. Shortly after, they notice a phone ringing on a phone booth, and saw that there was a chain on the phone booth, which they figured out that the clue was to collect the acid rain and melt the chain, and answer the phone call. They started a quick search, and found a ketchup bottle, which they used in fetching the rain, and burnt through. They answered the phone, but there was no response. Few seconds left for the acid rain to start falling again, and Zoe is seen outside the phone booth searching for clues. Her companions panicked, and asked her to come in, but there was not enough space in the phone booth. The acid rain started pouring down, but she was not hurt as Rachel had quickly seen an umbrella. While she was seen in the rain, she found out that the clue was to pick up the phone and put it down, and pick it up again after 3 rings, which Rachel quickly did, and the door to a taxi in the room automatically opened. Zoe quickly hurried in. But while Rachel and Brianna was going to enter, the door of the taxi automatically closed, and the door to the phone booth also closed automatically, leaving both of them exposed to the acid rain. They had no place to hide, as everything had melted down, including the awnings. They tried both doors, but it wouldn't open. They both gave up trying, and was burnt by the rain. While Zoe went down through the sit of the taxi. In the organizing room, where Henry and his employees are organizing the game, they noticed that there was an error in the transaction chute. One of the employees suggested that they should call it in, but Henry disagreed and asked them to play through. In the next scene, Zoe is being injected by Ensler in the room, where Claire was being locked up by her father. Zoe got up tiredly and saw a box in the cage, where Claire was locked, containing all the clues for all the puzzle rooms. She then saw some structures on the wall, bringing it to her notice that the puzzle rooms were designed by Claire. She became anxious and called Claire a murderer, and told her that she killed Ben. It was then, Claire told her that Ben was still alive, as she had built a hidden extraction tank in the sand, and Ben was in the tunnel. While showing Zoe, Claire noticed that Henry's employees had found Ben and took him to the last puzzle room. Zoe asked Claire to do something, but Claire could not get him out as the only computer to get him out was in her father's study. With Claire telling Zoe that she can never come out of the cage on her own. They both started looking for clues to get her out, while Ben was in the puzzle room trying to come out. After much search, they finally got the clue and opened the cage. As Claire was seen coming out, she saw Ensler and hugged him, but Ensler fell to the ground as he had been shot by Henry. Henry is seen with a gun, which he points at Claire. He gripped Claire and pinned her to the wall, asking her to go back to the cage, but unknowing to him Ensler was with a gun. He shot Henry, and Claire pushed him to the cage and locked him. They then hurried to the room where they can get Ben out. Claire then got access to the puzzle room, and overrode the system. Then, she told Zoe that after they escaped, the clients begged for an encore, a game of champions, and told her that she was the only one who had ever really beat them. Zoe wanted to see Ben, but Claire told her that he was in the coordinate, and gave Zoe the key to her father's car. Zoe is seen asking Claire what she was going to do to Henry, which she told Zoe that she was going to call the police as soon as she gets far enough away. Zoe reminded Claire that Henry's men could hunt her, but Claire had already shut the doors, locking the employees inside. Zoe then went to the car, and drove off to see Ben. She saw Ben on the hospital bed, and Ben gave her necklace, which was earlier stolen from her in the previous scene. Ensler had earlier given Ben the necklace. Claire then went back to her father in anger. After it was revealed that Claire had gotten rid of her mother in order to show how useful she could be to her father Henry, but he stole her idea and took the credit and still stifled her. She then initiated the purge, leaving her father in the building. The end. Thanks for watching this video, and don't forget to subscribe and leave a like to the video.